My name is Lenore Marlowe, 38 years old. Everyone thinks they can tell when something is about to break. They imagine a loud sound, glass shattering, a door slamming, thunder splitting the sky. But sometimes it's quieter. For me, it was the hum of the dishwasher and the faint jungle drums from a Bluetooth speaker, playing the same party song my daughter had chosen weeks ago. Mia sat at the kitchen table, folding napkins into perfect triangles for her cousin Tyler's birthday party. Her movements were delicate, deliberate, like she was building something that mattered. She had spent 3 weeks planning this, designing signs, arranging candy jars, even creating a seating chart no one asked her for. I had paid the bills, because that's what I do. The fixer, the helper, the wallet. But as she worked, her phone sat next to her, screen dim, inbox open. Every few minutes she tapped refresh. Nothing. At first, I thought maybe my sister just forgot to include her address. Scatterbrained as ever, 3 kids, full-time job, and a constant flair for drama, so I called just to check. The phone was on speaker. Mia was still at the table, humming softly, folding another napkin. "Hey," I said, trying to sound casual. "I think Mia's invite didn't come through." A pause, then my sister's voice, smooth but tight. "Oh, right, yeah, so Tyler asked if she could, not come." For a second, I didn't understand the words. "I'm sorry. What?" "He just wants it to be fun," she said quickly. "Light. And with the chair and everything, it might be a bit much." "A bit much." I looked at Mia. Her hands had stopped. She wasn't looking at me. She wasn't looking anywhere, just staring down at the table like she was trying to disappear into it. I hung up. I didn't trust myself to keep my voice steady. For a while, the only sound was the dishwasher, the faint drums, and the quiet creak of her chair as she shifted. Then, softly, she said, "He doesn't want me there." Not a question, a fact. My chest burned, but I stayed calm. Moms learn that when your kid is hurting, they don't need to see you fall apart. They need to believe you won't. "He's an idiot," I said finally. "You made half this party happen." She nodded without looking up. "I thought maybe they forgot," she whispered. "I didn't think they'd actually leave me out." I had no words for that, none that didn't end in curses. A few minutes later, she wheeled herself to her room, closing the door softly behind her. That softness, that's what gutted me. I stayed at the table, staring at the neat rows of folded napkins, perfect little triangles like white flags. Surrender. Later that night, I opened my laptop. The spreadsheet glowed on the screen. Venue deposit, $800. Magician, $300. Decorations, $450. Catering, $200. Party favors, $550. Total, $2,300. My sister had called me so generous, said she didn't know how she'd pull it off without me. I stared at the numbers and thought, you let her build the party, then locked her out. And I funded it. The guilt sat in my stomach like a stone. I'd been here before. Different forms, same pattern. My sister, the golden one. Me, the responsible one. I was the kid who packed Band-Aids in my backpack while she broke things and got thanked for the lesson. She cried, people comforted her. I fixed, people forgot me. When she got pregnant at 23, she came to me in tears, no plan, no job, no clue. I took her in, rent-free, fed her, told her it would be okay. 8 months later, when her boyfriend got his act together, she moved out and said, "We just need space now, you understand." Of course I understood. That's what I do. I understand. And now, 12 years later, here we were, my kid uninvited, my sister unbothered. I thought about all the times I'd swallowed things like this. The Christmas photo they cropped Mia out of for framing purposes. The outdoor-only birthday on grass and gravel where her wheels sank before she even reached the table. "Oh, we didn't think of that part," my sister had said. That part meaning my child. And I said nothing, because admitting it was intentional would mean accepting that my family could be cruel. Not by accident, but by choice. But now I knew. I closed the spreadsheet. My decision came easy after that. We weren't going. Not one of us. Not Mia. Not her brother. Not me. But we were sending something. The next morning at breakfast, I told Mia. "We're not going," I said. She didn't look surprised, just nodded, eyes on her cereal. "But," I added, "we're sending a gift." Her spoon froze midair. "What kind of gift?" I shrugged. "One they won't forget." Her brow furrowed. "Like a flaming bag of dog poop?" I laughed, short and real. "Tempting, but no." She thought for a second, then asked, "Will I get in trouble for it?" "Definitely not." "Will they?" "Hopefully." And then finally, the smallest smile. "I'm in." We didn't say another word. We didn't need to. That night, I got to work. I pulled up receipts, vendor contacts, the decorator's invoice. Then, one by one, I started making calls. The magician first. Hi, small change in plans. Venue update. Could you redirect to this new address? He hesitated. Will your sister know? She will, I said, eventually. Then the candy cart, the balloon delivery, the photo booth team. Each one got the same new address. Mine. By noon, half the logistics had shifted quietly. I even emailed a few parents. Not many, just the ones who'd asked about Mia before, who actually saw her. We're hosting something small, I wrote. No expectations, just inclusion. One mom replied instantly. I knew something felt wrong. Count us in. By evening, our backyard was a canvas of possibility. Open space, real laughter waiting to fill it. The box sat on the counter, white paper, deep green ribbon, a handwritten tag in gold ink. To Tyler, from Mia. She wrote it herself. Her handwriting is small, careful, like she doesn't want to take up too much space. When she finished, she looked at me. Should I add a card? No, I said softly. The gift will speak for itself. She nodded, satisfied. I stood there a long time after she went to bed, staring at that box. The ribbon gleamed under the kitchen light. Inside, a fully charged tablet waited, screen dark for now. And I thought, if they won't let her in, we'll make sure her voice does. The morning of the party began like any other Saturday, except the air felt strange, charged, expectant. Mia wore her favorite green dress, the one with tiny gold threads that shimmered when sunlight hit it. Her brother, Jamie, helped tie a matching ribbon in her hair. Our backyard was already taking shape. Balloons knotted to the fence, folding tables draped in white cloth, lemonade sweating in mason jars. Meanwhile, across town, the party I had funded, the official one, was about to begin. My sister's perfect little world. I imagined her fussing over the decorations, probably bragging about the team effort that made it happen, never mentioning that the team had been her niece. The magician was running late, but I already knew why. He was on our side of the city, unloading props next to Mia's ramp. At the same time, in the rented hall, the gift table gleamed under string lights. Among the pastel packages sat one box that didn't blend in, larger, wrapped in white paper, green ribbon curled into deliberate loops. To Tyler, from Mia. I can picture my sister seeing it, her face flickering between confusion and self-satisfaction. Maybe she thought it was a peace offering. Maybe she thought kindness meant surrender. But quiet girls grow teeth. By noon, both parties were in full motion. One loud and glittering, the other small but alive. In our backyard, kids ran barefoot through the grass. The magician pulled coins from behind ears and turned napkins into doves. Mia laughed so hard her head tilted back. For once, she wasn't on the sidelines. She was center stage. I poured lemonade into her cup, pretending not to glance at my phone every other minute. I was waiting for it, the moment the box would open. It came faster than I expected. 12:46 p.m. A text from a cousin. They just opened Mia's gift. 12:47. Holy shut, Lenore. The video began with a soft piano melody. The camera panned across the kitchen table. Mia folding napkins, tying ribbons, assembling candy jars, all the things she had done for a party she wouldn't attend. Then her voice, calm, clear, and devastating. Hi, I'm Mia. I helped make a lot of this party. I picked the candy, I designed the signs, I tied the ribbons on every jar because I wanted everything to look amazing for my cousin. A pause, her small smile flickered. I was really excited to come, but I didn't get invited because I use a wheelchair. Gasps filled the room. You could hear them even through the phone video that later circulated online. A collective intake of air, disbelief sharp enough to cut. Someone whispered, "Oh my God," another voice, low and furious, "You've got to be kidding me." The video continued. I didn't want to make a scene, Mia said. I just wanted people to know what happened, because if it happened to me, it's probably happened to other kids too. She looked straight into the camera. If you believe every kid deserves to feel welcome, we're having our own party today. There's food and games and music, and everyone's invited, even if you're different, especially if you're different. The screen faded to black. A single line appeared. Address is on the back of the tag. Silence. Heavy. Undeniable. Then movement. Chairs scraping, shoes scuffing floors, parents whispering. Wait, she wasn't invited? She helped plan it. Who does that to a kid? And then, one by one, they left. Not storming, not shouting, just gathering their things and walking out. At first, my sister must have thought they were being polite, that they'd come back after the cake, but they didn't. Because truth has gravity. It pulls people toward it. Back in our yard, the sound of laughter carried across the fence. I turned and saw a pair of headlights rolling up the street, a minivan, then another, parents stepping out, kids following, uncertain but hopeful. One mom approached me, sunglasses hiding her eyes. "We saw the video," she said quietly. "Is it okay if we join?" I smiled. It's more than okay. Within half an hour, our backyard was full, a kaleidoscope of color and noise. Kids running, parents helping themselves to lemonade. Someone brought cupcakes, someone else turned on music. I looked over at Mia. She was surrounded by kids, showing them how to make paper napkin triangles. She was glowing. Then behind me, my phone buzzed again. A cousin's message. "Half the party walked out. She's flipping out. The video's brutal. Can I get the address?" I didn't reply. I didn't need to. Because the camera panned again. And this time, it caught what I'd never expected. Tyler, my nephew. Apparently, when the room cleared, he had locked himself in the bathroom. My cousin said he cried, not out of anger, out of shame. He's 12. I don't blame him. He was raised in a house that taught him discomfort mattered more than compassion, that keeping the vibe light was more important than being kind. He didn't learn that from nowhere. But that's the thing about kids. They learn fast, sometimes faster than the adults who raised them. Meanwhile, our party kept going. The magician performed his final trick, pulling a bright green ribbon from behind Mia's ear, looping it into a bow, then placing it gently in her lap. She clapped, cheeks flushed. "Best party ever," she said. I almost cried. Around 3 o'clock, my cousin texted again. "You won't believe this. The candy cart's missing. The magician, too." I smiled. "Found them," I whispered. By 3:30, the last of the original guests had arrived at our place. Some awkward, some angry, all relieved. One mom hugged me, voice trembling. "I didn't know what happened. I just knew it felt wrong." Another dad, still holding a gift bag, said quietly, "My son asked why Mia wasn't there. I didn't have an answer. Now I do." I didn't say anything, just nodded. We ended the afternoon with music and messy cupcakes. No speeches, no drama, just the sound of kids laughing, freely, loudly, equally. As the sun started to set, Mia sat on the porch swing with Jamie, sharing the last cupcake. Her gold headband caught the light. "Do you think they're mad?" she asked. I looked at her, at the glow of the backyard, at the quiet truth hanging in the air. "Probably," I said. She smiled. "Good." And for the first time in years, I didn't feel like I was cleaning up someone else's mess. I felt like I'd finally stopped pretending there wasn't one. By the next morning, my phone looked like it had survived a war. 43 unread messages, missed calls from relatives I hadn't heard from in months, a few voicemails that began with, "I just think it's sad that," and ended with me pressing delete. Then came the email. Subject line, "We need to talk about what you did." I didn't open it. I didn't need to. I already knew the script. I had played that part for years, the one where I cleaned the mess, absorbed the blame, and let everyone else feel comfortable again. Not this time. By noon, the story had started to spread. A friend texted me a screenshot from Facebook, a post in a local parenting group. "How do we talk to our kids about exclusion when it's dressed up as keeping things light? Maybe it's time we stop calling cruelty a vibe." The post didn't name names, but it didn't have to. The video had made its rounds, a clip of Mia tying ribbons, her voice steady and kind. The caption read, "She helped plan the party, then she wasn't invited." The comments poured in. "She's 12 and handled it better than most adults." This broke me. I would have burned the whole venue down. This is what ableism looks like, quiet, polite, and cruel. And then inevitably my sister's response. She tried to reclaim the narrative, vague posts about false stories and toxic behavior disguised as advocacy, her words dressed up in concern, dripping with self-pity. When that didn't work, she escalated. She told people Mia had always been invited, that I must have deleted the email. She said I weaponized her child's party to get attention, that I'd coached Mia to fake tears. It would have been laughable if it weren't so vile. I thought about calling her, thought about sending screenshots, receipts, timestamps, everything that proved the truth. But I didn't. Because I've learned something about people who lie in glass houses. They don't get to scream when the sunlight comes through. And sunlight was pouring in. By Tuesday, a local paper had picked up the story, a small blurb about a powerful act of courage by a young girl challenging exclusion. They didn't name us, but people recognized the faces. Parents who'd been silent before began speaking up. Some messaged me privately. "I should have said something sooner. I looked away, and I'm sorry. Meanwhile, my sister kept spinning. To distant relatives, she said Mia was going through a phase. To mutual friends, she claimed I was emotionally unstable and using disability as a shield. It might have hurt once, but now it just sounded like static. Then, midweek, the real fallout hit. Mia came home from school, backpack hanging off one shoulder, face pale. Tyler told people I edited the video to make him look bad, she said quietly, and that I hacked his mom's email. She wasn't crying, just tired, the kind of tired that settles deep, like bone weight. I knelt beside her. Do you believe any of that? She shook her head. No, but it still sucks. It does, I said, and I'm sorry. She sighed. I just thought maybe it would be over. I looked at her, this brave, steady girl who had done nothing but tell the truth. It won't always be like this, I said softly. People show you who they are. Now we know. That night we baked brownies. She poured the batter, licked the spoon, laughed when I stole a corner. It wasn't about pretending everything was fine. It was about reminding her that she was still allowed to smile. 2 days later, I got a call from her school counselor. Apparently, a group of kids, some who hadn't even known Mia well, started sitting with her at lunch. They called it Mia's table. They make sure no one eats alone, the counselor said. She didn't ask for it, but she shows up every day, leads it even. After the call, I sat in my car and cried until the windshield fogged. Because for once, something good had grown from the wreckage. A week passed. My sister went quiet. The Facebook posts stopped. The whispers dulled. Tyler kept his distance at school, too ashamed, maybe, or too confused to face her. My parents left a voicemail that said, "We hate being in the middle. Can't you two just work it out?" But they weren't in the middle. They'd just chosen the comfort of silence. And silence is always a side. So I started cutting cords. Group texts, gone. Holiday plans, canceled. The old family chat, muted, archived. I even returned the last invoice from the party vendor marked canceled by request. It felt like closing a tab that had been draining my battery for years. That Friday night, Mia and I sat on the porch wrapped in blankets. The sky was the color of ash and honey. Crickets filled the spaces between words. "Do you think it was worth it?" she asked finally. I didn't ask what she meant. I knew. "Yes," I said after a long pause, "because I'm not going to teach you to shrink so other people can stay comfortable." She nodded slowly. "I don't think I'll ever forget it." "You're not supposed to," I said, "but that doesn't mean you carry it forever. Just long enough to know what you'll never tolerate again." She leaned her head against my shoulder. We didn't talk after that. The next morning, a new envelope arrived in the mail. Hand-decorated, glittery around the edges. Inside was a party invitation from a classmate Mia barely knew. "You were the first person I wanted to invite," the note said. "You seem like someone who makes things better just by being there." Mia read it twice, eyes wide, then she looked up. "Should I go?" "Yes," I said. When she came home later that day, she had glitter on her shoes and frosting on her sleeve. 2 new friends walked her up the driveway. She peeled off the paper wristband they gave everyone at the door and held it up for me to see. It said, "All are welcome." She smiled, taped it to her bedroom mirror, and whispered, "I think this one's staying up." That night, after she went to bed, I sat on the porch again. The air was cool, still humming with leftover laughter. I thought about my sister, her silence, her shame, the lessons she still refused to learn. Part of me wondered if I'd gone too far. If humiliating her in front of 50 people had really been necessary. But then I saw the reflection of Mia's wristband glinting faintly through her window. All are welcome. And I realized something. Sometimes the only way to change the story is to stop editing yourself out of it. So no, I didn't go too far. I just finally went far enough. What would you have done? Let me know in the comments. And if this story hit you even a little, go ahead and subscribe.